Hi guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the Gtech HyLite. This is a pretty portable vacuum cleaner to say the least, and it's available for £200 in the UK. Links will be down in the description below. In the box, what you'll find is the vacuum cleaner itself, 3 additional bags, so it's not a bagless vacuum cleaner, a small cleaning tool which is useful for decluttering the brush, a manual, and of course a handle as well, which basically attaches on pretty intuitively to the vacuum cleaner, making it a somewhat portable vacuum cleaner. So without further ado, let's go into the actual build quality and design of this thing. So as you were able to see, it was really easy to attach the actual handle, but you can also get it out. Now why you'd want to do this is simply because one, you'd want to store it, and secondly, you can actually use the vacuum cleaner without that handle whatsoever. Simply place your hand over here, obviously turn it on, and start vacuuming, let's say, your stairs or wherever it might be. Now, this design itself is actually really nice because it's one of the lightest vacuum cleaners you'll find. At 1.5 kilograms, it is extremely lightweight. Now, in terms of attaching back this handle, the handle itself is relatively easy to go back in, but sometimes it doesn't clip back in, as you might be able to hear, and sometimes requires just a little bit of extra force to pop it in. That's due to the plastic construction over there, which doesn't mean to me, or doesn't make me feel like it's going to last a long time. Nevertheless, when the handle is attached, you press this button and drag upwards, and you've got basically a traditional vacuum cleaner. Now what I found is this actual handle that extends is quite wobbly, to say the least. However, that's simply due to its design. At 1.5 kilograms, they have to save some sort of weight and in terms of design. So therefore, you do have to have a sort of lightweight handle. And to be fair, in fairness of Gtech's or sort of defense, I have no sort of problem with that. You know, you're just vacuuming around, you're not going to really notice that wobble. Now, going into the other aspects of this vacuum cleaner, there's an on and off button which is very easily to access via your hand or your foot on the left hand side. On the right hand side, you've got a removable battery. Now, the removable battery can be charged externally, which means you can get separate batteries and therefore have increased runtime. Now, in terms of battery life, you can expect around 20 minutes of operation, which, according to my test and even according to Gtech's claim, is pretty much bang on to the money. Now, the charger is provided within the box. I didn't showcase that beforehand, but what you'll find is when you plug it in, this G logo over here lights up, and when it's fully lit green, it means it's fully charged. If it starts flashing, or let's say when you've got it in here and it's flashing amber, what you'll find is that it is running out of battery, and therefore kind of reminds you, hey, I need to have some charge. Now, going into the actual bag is really easy. You simply lift up this plastic flap and you find the bag over here. Now, there's pros and cons to having a bag versus bagless design. Personally, I much prefer a bagless design simply because it means it's quite easy to empty out regularly, but due to the design of this thing, I can understand why Gtech have opted for a bag design. Now, bear in mind that you will have to replace the bags, you'll have to throw them away and buy some new ones in, but they're relatively inexpensive to buy. I feel like a set of around 12 or so, or 15 or so, or around 12 to 13 pounds, which is relatively inexpensive given that each bag is claimed, obviously it depends on the amount of dirt you have in your house, to last around a month of usage. Just worth bearing in mind that this is not a bagless vacuum cleaner. Now, moving on from there, in terms of maintenance, that little tool that I talked about initially provides you a sort of easy way of cleaning out, let's say if you have pet hair or even your own hair. If you want to clean out the brush over here, you can fully remove it and then clean it. It also is nice that you can actually remove the brush because it's good just for maintenance in case you get sort of things jammed at the bottom over here. So other than that, in terms of build quality, it's also worth bearing in mind there's 2 little LEDs over here which light up, giving you that sort of better vision in a sort of a not as well lit room. Now, in terms of turning it on, as I said before, it's on the left button over here. I'm just going to turn it on so you guys can actually hear it. So in terms of noise, it's relatively loud when it comes to actually using it. It's not the most silent vacuum cleaner in the world. So now let's talk about the performance. Now, before actually getting into in terms of like a little bit of tests and videos that I shot when I was actually testing this, what I'd like to mention is the fact that you can use this vacuum cleaner without the actual head. Now, I might have alluded to that before, however, I do want to make that clear that you can use the vacuum cleaner without the head and therefore use it with your hand only. There is a limitation, however, and that is the fact that it can't be used in a traditional sense. And when I say traditional sense, I mean there is no hose that comes out and there's no crevice tool, for example. There's only this little handle which has no attachment whatsoever to the actual suction or the actual bag. The only thing you get to clean dirt with is that brush head at the front. Now, what that means is that this can only be used for the floor, or let's say your sofa or something like that. It needs a surface. You can't be cleaning your walls, you can't be cleaning the corners, or you can't be cleaning parts of your computer, for example, or your desk. Things like that will need more of a traditional vacuum cleaner. So it's worth bearing that in mind, because when you're using this vacuum cleaner, you might be wanting this as your go-to vacuum cleaner for everything, and unfortunately that can't be the case due to its portable design. So now with that out the way, I'd like to mention actually its portable design. I really like its lightweight frame, which means that it will appeal to people who haven't got the strongest arms in the world. Now, this is great for someone like my mum, for example. She wants a lightweight vacuum cleaner. However, my mum's pet hate, and pun intended, is the fact that a vacuum cleaner isn't strong enough and she has to do several passes. Unfortunately, my mum, for example, won't really like this Gtech. And the reason why is because when I put fine debris, aka flour, on short pile or long pile carpet, what I found is the Gtech really required several passes. After several passes, I somewhat gave up and there was a kind of like a flour stain there, and then I had to get it out of its kind of handle mode and press down really hard onto the carpet to try and get all that flour out. At the end, I did achieve getting all the flour out, but it did require several extra minutes for no apparent reason for me using this vacuum cleaner on sort of carpet. Now, on a hardwood floor, I had no problems whatsoever. Flour was pretty well done. There's pretty much a perfect result after one pass. The same couldn't be said, however, for larger debris. Now at the front, what you'll notice, there is a small little gap, and that is essentially made for those larger debris. However, without several little sort of holes in them, or little spaces for larger debris to go in, what I found is that only the Cheerios had one sort of inlets to come in, and that was the middle. When it came to the side, it kind of snow plowed all my debris. So, of course, I'm not expecting people to have large debris everywhere in their house, and specifically Cheerios. However, if you do have large debris, let's say you have a leaf that's fallen down from your plant or something, you're really going to have to get it from the center of the vacuum cleaner, which can be awkward when you're cleaning a variety of different ways and different places, and you've only got a limited 20 minutes of runtime to go by. So when it came to large debris, I wasn't overly impressed on hardwood flooring. However, on carpet, due to the way that the carpet, how it acts, it acted almost like a sort of little rocky type of road for the vacuum cleaner. Therefore, it could pass over pretty much the majority of the Cheerios. Now, another problem what I found with the Gtech was the fact that after I switched off the Gtech, and funnily enough, when I first did this video, which I've edited out, what I found is that flour and Cheerios would kind of fall down after it's been off. So after I've just sucked up some dirt and I've turned it off, what I found is that dirt was kind of falling down from the brush head. Now, this won't be a problem if you are leaving it in one place after you use it, but if you are using it on the go and taking it around with you, you might find dirt and debris falling back out from the brush head. Is that due to the bag design? Is that due to the fact that dirt gets caught in between the brush head parts or in between like the intake? I can't be sure, to be honest. However, all I can report is that small bits of Cheerio and flour were kind of spewing out of that brush head, which is not what you want from a vacuum cleaner, because I then had to redo several passes, ironically, with the vacuum cleaner in order to make sure that no debris was coming out. So overall, what do I think about this vacuum cleaner? Well, quite honestly, it hasn't got the best performance. It's £200, which isn't cheap if you compare it to its alternative. Let's say, I know it's £285, but the Roidmi F8 is an absolute fantastic vacuum cleaner at £285. Bagless, provides you all the options. Check the review down in the description below. That, to me, is a more complete vacuum cleaner and actually really well designed and offers you plenty of features, better than the Dyson equivalent, for example. The Gtech, however, does have a niche. It is the lightest vacuum cleaner, the most portable one, and one that could appeal to a certain market. I don't want to assume that elderly people can't go around cleaning with more hefty vacuum cleaners, but using my mum as an example, who has weak wrists and arthritis, she has problems in terms of lugging around really heavy vacuum cleaners, and therefore something like this might be suitable. That said, again, the problem is the performance. I just want a bit more performance, or in terms of when it's sucking things in, just to remain in its bag rather than kind of spew them out after it's been turned off. So overall, I think this vacuum cleaner is kind of fit for purpose. It's a lightweight vacuum cleaner that would appeal to a certain market, but I can't quite recommend it, even for those people out there. There are other vacuum cleaners you should consider, for example, the Roidmi F8, or even, let's say, a Dyson V7 or Dyson V8. Yes, it's much more expensive, but you're not going to have to do several passes and gives you a more complete vacuum cleaner solution. So, to summarize, I would say that Gtech have tried to find a solution to a problem that a lot of people might have, specifically, let's say, and not assuming, elderly people. However, in this respect, I don't feel Gtech have really executed it perfectly. They've done a valiant job, to say the least, but they haven't done it in a perfect way. So there we go, guys. I've been Totally Dubbed. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Always helps the channel grow and keeps me doing these honest, unbiased, unpaid reviews. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care and bye-bye.